Love Country on the Rails. A Lonely Pursuit in Eastern Europe. Part E, Slovakia. On the morning of May 19th, in a hotel in Krakow, Poland. As my knife spread butter, I was laying out the destinies of two countries named after love next to a coffee stain. On the map, Slovakia and Slovenia looked like lost twin stars, staring coldly at each other across the borders of the Czech Republic, Hungary, and Austria. This is the most difficult railway mystery after the three Baltic states. No direct trains. No air links, only the Eurail Goble Pass app and a neurotic obsession with Google Maps to unravel the geometry of Eastern Europe. On the morning of May 20th. At the ticket window in Krakow, the sound of a Polish woman's frowning keyboard became the background music. Bohumin? She repeated the name of the small Czech border station, like a lost spell. The glares from the line behind me burned. Yet I could almost hear the clang of rails breaking at the border. Finally, accepting the ticket that only guaranteed me a ticket to the border, I grasped a half-broken sword and embarked on my journey. At 5 p.m. on May 20th, the train switched trains at the Polish-Czech border. On the Bohumin platform, nuns in black robes, like a flock of doves perched in the morning light, silently confirmed platform 3 with a nod. The conductor's gesture of waving my seat ticket gave the cross-country journey a sudden, romantic feeling of hitchhiking. At 9:31 p.m., when the Zilina, Slovakian station sign came into view, I realized 4 crescent-shaped sweat marks had formed on my palms. At 9:33 p.m., I arrived in Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia. Overnight in Bratislava, at the CHORS Capsule Hotel First World NFT Block Art Capsule Hostel MetaCHORS. May 20th 22nd, €92 for 2 nights. The metal capsule glowed blue in the darkness. The moment I bit into a cold sandwich in the lounge, my mental defenses suddenly collapsed. It turned out the most exhausting part wasn't my legs, but my optic nerves. Strained for 14 hours. And the adrenaline rush of battling the schedule every minute. On May 21st, at dawn, I stepped into the old town of Bratislava, Slovakia. The streets were a poetic tranquility, people and trams mingling, yet there was no clamor, only the gentle sound of footsteps on the tracks. Michaelmas Gate stood majestically, its bell tower atop a tower like a guardian of time. I raised my camera, capturing this baroque splendor in a single inch. The spire of St. Martin's Church pierced the heavens. And I gazed upward, history flowing through the stone carvings. Inside the Archbishop's church, light streamed through the stained windows, like a divine finger caressing the shoulders of the devout. Walking to Bratislava Castle, perched atop its hilltop ramparts, I took in the sweeping views of the Danube River. I let my thoughts wander, drifting on the wind across the shimmering waters. Inside the art museum, paintings silently told of centuries of joy and sorrow. In front of the presidential palace, the changing of the guard ceremony was solemn and precise. The gleaming of golden buckles akin to a journey back in time to the glory of the empire. I found an elegant post office with quaint decor, selected a few postcards, and used my pen to convey my feelings. At 3 p.m., where the aroma of ink and coffee mingled, I settled in a corner, capturing this tranquil moment. The old town's baroque architecture was breathtaking, its rose-pink and pale yellow facades gently conversing in the sunlight. The occasional chime of tram bells pierced the stillness, adding a touch of leisure. My pen trembled over my diary in the bookstore cafe, knowing that the journey to Slovenia would require 3 transfers within the Czech Republic. A 9-hour journey through a maze of steel. I still booked my ticket. Some countries, if missed, become forever blank on the globe. I didn't want to end up in a rocking chair in my old age, year after year, gnawing at my soul with the if only. What if? It felt like fate calling me. If I missed this opportunity, I feared I'd never see it again. So I booked a train for tomorrow at 9:58 a.m. a 9-hour journey through the Czech Republic, involving 3 transfers. This will be another dance with the wheel of travel, requiring precision like the gears of a clock. Any misstep and I'll be sleeping with the stars. The journey, like life, is full of twists and turns and unknowns. And I await tomorrow's new chapter with joy in my heart. In this world, the most moving sights are often the human heart. On the morning of May 22nd, at the first light of day, I embarked on my journey to Slovenia, filled with both trepidation and anticipation. My 7 a.m. breakfast still carried the freshness of morning dew. I carefully packed my nearly 30-kilogram backpack, along with my stubbornly beating heart. I packed all my trepidation and anticipation into my luggage and carefully carried it downstairs. On the slip of paper clutched tightly in my hand, neatly written were the key words for purchasing the ticket, my little bridge over the language barrier. I'd booked a bulk bus for the 9:58 a.m. train. But when I entered my destination, I encountered an unexpected hiccup. The letters Slovak danced on the screen. But there was no sign of rail, automatically switching to bus station. Fate quietly shifted course. The driver's smile failed to completely melt the language barrier. When the bus pulled up to the bus stop connected to the shopping mall, my heart sank. The hands of the clock kept turning. Although there was still enough time left, the feeling of being in a foreign land still came like a tide. At that moment, an angel appeared, dressed in everyday clothes, a young man who understood English. Thus entered my story. His eyes gleamed with kindness. He not only patiently inquired about my destination, but also bought Slovakian specialty drinks and bread from the market, insisting I accept this heartwarming gift. He personally waited with me, called a Bolt taxi, and carefully explained his destination to the driver. As we parted, we took a photo together, capturing not only two smiling faces but also one of the most precious exchanges of kindness in the world. We arrived at the station with half an hour to spare. The timetable indicated a 10-minute delay, and I waited patiently in line in the lobby to buy my ticket. When I handed the conductor the handwritten slip, an unexpected miracle occurred, through a small hole. He gave me not only a ticket to Bratislava, Czech Republic, but also a connecting ticket in Graz, Austria, for just €2. He saved me the trouble of arranging a seat at each stop along the way. At that moment, a wave of gratitude washed over me like a warm current. In the waiting hall, the plight of another stranger caught my attention. An elderly man's bag of fruit suddenly burst, spilling onto the floor. Without hesitation, I stepped forward to help, and soon an elegant woman joined in. She not only helped pick up the pieces but also warmly urged them to tidy up properly before leaving. The gratitude in the elderly woman's eyes as she departed was another heartwarming scene that morning. The train slowly pulled out of the platform, and I knew my journey to Ljubljana, Slovenia, would reach its final destination at 7:42 p.m. But the kindness and warmth I've received along the way have made my destination more than just a geographical location, but a place imbued with the radiance of humanity. The world is filled with countless sights, but the most beautiful is the connection between people's hearts. This May Day, I journey forward with a heart filled with gratitude, confident that warmth will spread, kindness will flow, and that the world will ultimately become a better place because of every small act of kindness.